What's up, guys? This is Bobo Jones, and I tried to do this video this morning, but there was so much traffic. It was just literally non-stop, me just like splitting 50 cars at every red light to get to the front of the light, and I just could not speak. I was just too focused. So epic failure. So I figured I'd do it now. Traffic's a little more peaceful. It's like 2:30 or something like that, so a little more chill. And I need to figure out some solution because I cannot wear my backpack with this airbag vest. It's horrible. So I need to put something that can hold a giant 16-inch MacBook Pro laptop in it on the bike behind me. My panniers don't fit it, but I need some top thing that goes on the pillion seat. I mean, this is so unbelievably uncomfortable that it just ruins the ride for me, like completely ruins it. It's horrible. I can't even put my head back. It's like my head is has to be tilted completely forward. So I got to figure that out soon. But anyway, what I wanted to talk about today is I always have these interesting conversations with people where, they're surprised. I ride a bike, and some of these people even have scooters, and they're riding on these 50, 100cc scooters with flip-flops and shorts on and barely have a helmet on. And it just doesn't make sense to me. I think this Aprilia, granted it takes a little bit of skill to ride it, but is one of the safest bikes you can buy, right? I mean, it's ridiculously fast. It has insane brakes, especially for the weight. I don't know how many bikes there are that have M50s on them that weigh this much, but it can't be many. And it has the best tech ever. It handles well. It has full-size tires on it. And so I just don't understand this argument that people feel like these smaller, less powered bikes with worse brakes, worse everything essentially, are somehow safer than something like this, where again I have better handling, better grip, better control in the rain, full-size tires, full suite of electronics, and yeah, it just doesn't make sense. And then you have people, even on these e-bikes, I mean, we have so many kids and people riding e-bikes in my neighborhood, wearing no helmet, no gear, no nothing. So I'll always take a motorcycle with gear over basically anything else, possible that's out there. So I really do think that, once you have the skills to reasonably ride something that can get you the biggest brakes possible, the best technology, safety technology possible, that you should get it, because there's no question in my mind that I'm safer on this bike than I am on my old, Honda Elite scooter I had. I had a 250 1986 Honda Elite scooter, which was fucking rad. But there's no way that was safer than this. Those wheels in perfectly dry California weather would squeal around all the time. You couldn't turn it as easily. Even splitting was harder on that than on this bike, because the balance was worse. So there's just no circumstances. I don't understand this logic of power equals dangerous. Yes, of course, if you ride this like a complete fucking knob, you can get into trouble easily, right? I mean, you can go 80 miles an hour in first gear. But outside of that, all things being the same, if you're riding this reasonably responsibly like you would those other vehicles, or commuting with this is way safer than basically everything else in terms of its handling characteristics. The only thing that's not safer about this than like a Ducati Multistrada is the seat height, and how much of traffic you can see and how much you can be seen is better on something like you know, bright red Ducati Multistrada. But outside of that, there's just no way. I mean, this is basically the safest thing you can get, especially if you combine it with some good gear. And so, yeah, I wonder what you all think about that. And of course, I'm not suggesting like a new rider get a Aprilia Tuono V4 or like a Duke 1290 just to get M50s on it. You know, there's other bikes with good brakes that are less powerful. But I do think there's something nice about, you know, being able to stop so quickly, being able to maneuver out, being able to accelerate out of traffic really quickly, having insane traction control, especially in places where it rains. It doesn't rain here, and if it did, I would never use my motorcycle to ride, so I never ride in the rain. But there's something to be said for all that, you know, and there's a lot of circumstances, for sure, a lot of circumstances of people on older, less powered bikes with smaller tires in the canyons crashing, where definitely if they had traction control, they'd be fine. You know, they wouldn't have crashed. Or definitely if they had bigger, grippier tires, they wouldn't have crashed. So that's it. That was my thought. You know, a lot of, you know, wannabe Rossies like to say, oh, you don't need that stuff. That safety equipment makes you weak, makes you a bad rider, but it literally just saves your ass. You know what I mean? There's plenty of good riders who crash because they didn't have it and they hit something they didn't see, or they hit gravel, or, you know, a patch of sand in the mountains or something like that. And had they had it, it would have saved their asses. And there's plenty of people who plow into the back of another vehicle that stops short, that had they had better brakes, they would have survived it. And there's plenty of people on scooters in the rain that fucking wash out and crash, that if they had big normal tires and ABS, they wouldn't have crashed. And so I just find it really interesting, this notion that slower bikes and scooters, and, you know, that motorcycles are so dangerous. So anyway, that's a quick video for today. Here's a nice view of the Cali beach. Let me know what you think. This is Bobo Jones saying, arrivederci. Have a good one. Ride safe. Have fun. Enjoy life. Later.